Can everybody see you okay?
Okay, so
Yes.
All right. Everybody hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. We'll give
Hi.
everybody a few more minutes. Hello. So this is a new platform that I'm switching to for my classes. It's a little bit more interactive, and I can actually take away some of the people that normally is so many people in one class. You have to chat with everything. Now you can actually talk back to me as we're working.
Wow, beautiful.
We'll give everybody a few more seconds. I know I usually give everybody about 5 minutes to get in. They got to try to figure this out, I'm sure. Was the supply list and everything easy to download? Is anybody working alone tonight? Anybody working alone tonight?
I'm just watching you.
Okay. All right, we'll give them a second. We'll get started at 7:05. I don't know what time it is y'all time, but 7:05 my time. All right, everybody can see or hear okay? Everybody can see and hear okay? Y'all there with me? Y'all there? Y'all ready? You ready to go? All right, everybody ready to go tonight?
Clean up the living room. Please don't leave anything.
All right, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. Okay. All right, guys. You can also utilize the chat. If you have questions in between, just stop me, and I will turn the volume back on for you guys to ask questions. I'm going to go ahead and get started now. If you're working along with me, you should have the recipe. Did everybody get to download the recipe?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's get it. All right, y'all. Good evening. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the Glam donut class tonight. So, guys, this recipe is fairly simple. It's considered a cake donut recipe. I found it to be one of the easiest recipes to use, as it didn't take a lot of ingredients and yeast and all of the stuff like that. At any given time, if you have a question, you can actually utilize the feature to unmute yourself if you have a question. Like I said, this is a new platform, so now that it's a little bit more interactive for all of my students. That way, that we don't have a large group of people, and you're free to ask the different questions if you need to. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the recipe is really, really simple, as I said. The ingredients call for just a few ingredients of stuff that you probably already have at home. The supply list is very simple. There is the donut pan, which you can actually get from Amazon. And I got the good thing about being here in the city, a larger city, Amazon, you can actually get things shipped the same day. So I actually I was excited about getting started with doing this, that I've been watching a lot of videos and been just looking into it about getting started with donuts. I have actually decorated donuts before, but it was always like the store-bought donuts where I went and actually bought them and just decorated them like that. So this is going to be a really, really smooth transition into like the additional treats that you can add to your menu. All right. So the pan, again, you can get this from Amazon. They even sell them at Michael's. If you go to Michael's, you can get it and use the coupon for them. All right. So the recipe itself has, like I said, minimal ingredients. There's you have 2 cups of flour, which I have sifted my flour and cornstarch together. So it's 2 cups of flour and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And I've already sifted that into a bowl together. A 2/3 cups of sugar, which we'll add in. Add 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 3 eggs plus 1 yolk will go in the mix as well. And it says that you can use 2/3 cups of whole milk. You guys know that I'm a real big fan of buttermilk. So I actually use buttermilk in mine because buttermilk just makes everything a lot more moist. And because buttermilk has the highest fat content, it just gives it a little bit more extra moistness. The donuts are already like they're cake donuts, so they're already they're not really dense, but they're perfect for dipping and decorating and everything, and they taste amazing depending on what flavors you choose to put in them. And the last ingredient is just a half a teaspoon of the flavor of your choice. Now, I have my set choice of flavoring that I will go over and tell you guys that has become my absolute favorite flavor to add into all of my treats and stuff like this now, and I'll show that to you later on. All right, so to get started, you're gonna go ahead and spray your pans down. Now, whatever you choose to spray them with, you can find. I just use a good pan spray. That's a multi-purpose spray that I got from Sam's Club, and you're just gonna spray your pan and just set it aside. All right. So the main thing about this is you do not want to over mix it. you can't mess this up because literally, you guys, you just adding all the ingredients to the mixer and letting it go. Of course, I always start with adding wet ingredients in first. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my buttermilk for the 2/3 cup of milk. And again, it says whole milk on there, but of course, I like to use buttermilk. I'm going to add in my oil. You don't have to worry about trying to put one thing at a time and let it combine. This is one of those recipes where you literally just dump everything in together. All right. I want to add in my sugar. And the flour. This is the flour and cornstarch mix. It really helps if you have one of these little things on here. All right, and my cornstarch going in there. All right, let me make sure I got all the milk out. Now the last thing, I'm gonna go ahead and put in my baking powder. Get it down. And you got 2 teaspoons of baking powder. There's no particular in order that you would have to go in when you're doing this. This is literally, if you have my recipe for the cakes, this is pretty much similar to that. It's a really simple. So make sure you scrape your bowl. Go and get it down the sides. All right, and as I said, you just want to get the ingredients combined together. That's it. You don't have to overmix it. You just want it to be combined. Now it says on there that it will have lumps in it, and that's okay because I found that the lumps just actually make it kind of moist. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my flavoring, okay? And I like to just stir the flavor in. Now I'm using my the flavor that I got from cake, etc. It's called Wedding Bell, and you can see I didn't use it so much; it's about almost gone. I'm waiting on my new one to come in now. But this is actually just enough to go in here, and it'll be just fine, okay? And I'll share the link with you guys if you guys want to order this. But it's called Wedding Bells. It's like a mix of different flavors. If you had the cream bouquet flavor, this is like that, like on steroids. So it's an amazing flavor. It's really good, and it's like it calls for almost like an emulsion. So you don't have to use a lot of it. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm just adding in a little over a teaspoon of it into the mix, and it already smells good. Oh. All right. Okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to use a bag. It says you can use a scoop. I'll show you both ways that you can do it with. You can use whether you're using a scoop or you're using a bag. I found the bag to be easier, but if you have a scoop, you can use a small scoop and get it in there. It should be at least 2/3 of the way full. You don't want to fill it up. It's not like a cake is going to spill out or anything. So you will be okay with it. And it's just, I found it just easy. I'll show you what it's like when you're doing it with a scoop. The batter is kind of like a thicker consistency, almost like it gives you, it's a mind almost like pancake batter, and that's doing it with a scoop. Now I'll show you the way that I just did it was I just put it in a bag, the amount that I, just so I have enough, and that way I can just put it around the ring. It's easier just to get around the ring in there. If you have a larger bag or whatever, it's fine. But I always just say don't use enough to what you can actually handle. All right. Let's see. All right. Is everybody good so far? I just unmuted everybody. Everybody okay?
Yes.
Good. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Everybody good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, we good.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and add it with the bag. Like I said, I think it's easier with the bag because you can actually see what you're doing. I actually used a bigger bag before. That way you ain't got to keep refilling the bag. All right. So you want it to be about 2/3 of the way full. All right. All right. So that's about how much you want to put in there. All right. So you want to bake these. I didn't include it on there. I will update the list for you guys, email it back to you guys, but you only need to bake these for 11 minutes. And depending on how hot your oven gets, my oven is actually pretty tricky. It's an electric oven. So it says to bake at you set your oven at between 325 to 350. That just depends on your oven. Now I've set mine in the middle, so I set it at about 335 to 340. All right. So I'm gonna put these in. I'm gonna let it bake. I set it on the top rack. Set the timer. All right. Set the timer. I set it for 12 minutes. All right. Now, in the meantime, now you have a couple of different options that you can do for this. What you're seeing on mine were I actually did my donuts and did excuse me. I did chocolate on mine. Now, if you want to do like a glaze or something on there, you can do that too. And your glaze is really just powdered sugar, your flavoring of your choice, and heavy cream. If you want to do chocolate or whatever, you can do it that way too. But it's really just your choice of ingredient for the glaze. Is really, really simple. Simple glaze. You know, most glazes are just powdered sugar. All right. All right. So I got the last one. I'll go ahead and fill this one up. They don't take long to actually to bake, and they don't take long to cool off. So I'm gonna do mine the quicker way when they come out, so that you guys don't have to wait for the whole cooling process. I'm gonna put them in. I'm gonna let them sit out for a second, then I'll put them in the freezer so they can cool off faster. All right, so while that's in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and also melt down my chocolate melts. Now I'm using, of course, my chocolate, the liquid gold chocolate. You're welcome to use any type of chocolate that you want to. I'm not just gonna say use mine, but there is the other method of chocolate I would suggest is using almond bark. Of course, your hands on. You don't have to wait for the chip or anything. So you can actually just get you some almond bark and melt it down. I'm using a large glass Pyrex bowl for the chocolate to melt down with. Now, for the decor on there, you have different options. If you just want to keep it simple, you can just dip it in either your glaze, or you can dip it in chocolate like I did and actually decorate it from there. And I'm going to show you some of the decorating techniques as well that I use on my donuts. I'm going to use white chocolate. Only reason why I use white chocolate because that's just my favorite. I don't like dark chocolate, which is why you don't really see me selling a lot of items that have dark chocolate, because I don't like the taste of it. And I only sell what I like. All right. So I'm going to get the decor prep now. So we can just. Now on the directions, it also says that the donuts are going to look like they are not done. And what that means is you don't have to wait for them to get dark. Like, don't let them get dark. You're not cooking cornbread or anything like that. They should still feel like really fluffy and almost like cakey to where it's like a very, very soft texture, so where they bounce back on you. All right. So I have some decor. I got a couple things. I got some piping bags, some small piping bags, and I got some sprinkles for this one. And I'm checking it. They look good. All right. So I got my white chocolate. See? Just melt down perfect. Ooh. So I like this bowl. You can get one of these bowls like on Amazon or something, or you may be able to just get it from your local grocery store, Kroger and all them places like that. They sell them. It's just a glass Pyrex bowl, and I'm just using these sprinkles. Of course, y'all know I always use it. I got some the GCC confection sprinkles to go on there because they're cute, and they make everything looks cute on there. All right, so far, any questions? I'm mute. Everybody all right?
Yep.
Yes,
Anybody
indeed.
working along?
On the donuts that you did on Instagram, what kind of gold did you use?
Let me show you that. Hold on, let me grab it. All right, so for gold, I know that most people have the ideal gold. That's the gold that you can get on Amazon. There's nothing wrong with that gold. I actually use 2 different types of gold for gold, the ones I did on there. This one is by Divine Specialties. I don't know where I got this from, but they have a website. It's divinespecialties.com. And I also use the gold from GCC Confections. It's called Cuban Link. I think she's restocking this next week. So this one right here, hers is actually my favorite because it gives you a real authentic gold. It doesn't look like the antique gold, like like the old doorknobs.
Thank you.
And with the gold, you want to always mix your gold with Everclear. All right. All right, guys. And if you have a question, additional question, you can also choose the option on there where you can unmute yourself if you have a specific question as well, too. I ain't want everybody to have all their noise in their ear. All right. So I'm going to check these. They got like, it says 6 minutes. So let me show you guys because what it does when you actually bake them, like it's not like regular cake or anything. So it's not gonna mess up if you do it, if you open the oven and all that. You know, you can't do that on regular stuff. So the way they look. So they bake up, they actually bake up like cake. So it's not, it's almost like you're really baking a cake when you're doing these, but they're actually, like I said, they're cake style donuts. All right, y'all could have told me that the lens was dirty and y'all couldn't see clear. All right, all right. So make sure you get all of your stuff together when you're doing these. It does help if you can go on Amazon and find a wire rack. You can actually get a wire rack and let your donuts actually cool on the rack. Okay. Now this mix actually makes, I think I made both pans plus like a half of one. So it made, I said on here, it yields a half a dozen. So it does a little bit over a half a dozen. And they worked out like, it works pretty good. Okay. Everybody good? Somebody see if they feature work where you can unmute yourself to ask a question. We all
Hello. Can you hear me?
I actually like it. It's a little bit more interactive. So for this gold, I'm gonna go ahead and get this mixed up too. So like I said, I mixed both of them together.
Can you hear me, Jeremy?
Just the look that I wanted. Oh, it does work. Somebody actually work. Somebody made it work.
Can you hear?
Yep, I can hear you. All right, so I'm going to add both of these in here together. And I only do this because it just gives you a different look. If you have all the different golds and metallic colors at home, I would suggest that you actually get you some wax paper and play with your colors to see what the different colors they actually make. All right, I'm just adding some Everclear.
Is the Everclear liquor?
Yes, this is Everclear liquor. So that's what, and you can get this, of course, from your liquor store. The reason why I use Everclear is because it's more potent. I don't use like lemon juices and vodka and all that because it tends to evaporate faster. The Everclear actually just gives a deeper color tone.
So do that mean kids can't eat these donuts?
Yes, the Everclear evaporates in the air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about them getting it. It's not an infused thing. Somebody did ask if there's a replay. Yes, it is. Once this actually finish up recording, because the class automatically records, I'm going to download it and put it straight to the website and email the link to everybody. And it'll be a password that you can actually go on and watch it anytime. Same as all my other classes. I mean, I'm right. All right, so I'm gonna check these. All right, so the first set that we put in are done. Now the thing about these pans are super small, so don't burn yourself. This is how they should look. They're gonna bake up like this. When I said that, when I showed you guys, I said they're gonna look like they're not done. That's what I meant. But they are done. Y'all smell them. Ooh, they smell so good. Ooh. Now I ain't selling these. I'm eating these. All right, so you're gonna let them cool in the pan for a couple seconds. That's what I do. I let them cool for a second before I flip them out, and then I flip them out and put them to let them chill. And they actually not gonna mess up or anything. I'll show you what one of them look like. And then the other one should be getting ready to come out in about 2 minutes. All right, so I'm just gonna flip one into here so you can actually see what it looks like once it's done. All right, so the pan itself, of course, is not, this pan is not your average size donut pan. Now, y'all should know that if you've actually ordered one. It's not huge. So these are considered mini donuts. And I actually listed them as such. Like when you tell your customers that they're getting donuts, they're mini cake donuts. And it's also important to let them know that they are cake donuts, because people can also misconstrue and think that donuts are going to be like your regular donuts. This ain't no Krispy Kreme, okay? They ain't Krispy Kreme donuts. Now, unless you got the secret ingredients of Krispy Kreme. Now, but they smell, these taste amazing. Like, and then you see that they're really, really light. They're fluffy, they bounce back. They got a little bounce to them. A little red bottom bounce. All right, so I'm gonna take a couple of these and dump them. I'm just putting them in another pan so that I can put them in the freezer for you guys so they can cool off right quick. They literally do not take long at all to chill. I'm just gonna sit this pan in the freezer. Show you how easy it is. And then you can use the same pan. You're gonna have some mix left over, I'm telling you. You really don't even have to spray it again, but I'm just gonna knock it just in case. And take the little bit of batter you got left, because we ain't wasting nothing. I use a spoon. I don't know how I got so many out of the first time, but I got I almost had a dozen, and I only made one batch of them, so I must have put more in it this time, in each cavity this time. The main thing is do not over bake them. They ain't supposed to be like a cake. They gonna be done. Like I said, it's very, very few ingredients. As you can see, this is not a box recipe. This is a scratch recipe. Really, really easy to follow. All right, and the other one is done as well. So that's why I had less batter, because they actually baked all the way up on here. So as you can see, they look like they're really, really light, but you just want a light golden color on there, light skin. They're not supposed to be dark skin donuts. So you can actually get that nice caramelized color on them. Now, what I did do, once they came out, I brushed mine because I didn't know at first how they were going to be. Were they going to be dry or whatever? Because most scratch recipes are always dry. And I had worked with this one for a minute and just kept trying to tweak it. So I added a little bit of simple syrup to it, just brushed up with simple syrup, just to give it a little bit more of some added moisture in it and a little bit of flavor. All right. So we got the other ones in the freezer. Now you're gonna need some type of mat or something that you're gonna work on your surface to work on, because you'll have chocolate and stuff everywhere if not. All right. And this gold is very messy, very. So you definitely want to make sure you have a surface that you can clean off to get this off, because all these golds will stain your countertop, everything. All right, let me get a mat to go down. get my own. All right. So we done let the chocolate, if you're using chocolate, I suggest using chocolate because they're decorative pieces. Now, one of the questions was, somebody asked me before we actually started the class was, how much do you charge for these on like a regular, if you were doing a sweets table or something? I can't tell you how much to charge for them. The more, I always say this, the more elaborate stuff is, the more you need to charge for it. You don't want to give your work away for free. And these things can get really elaborate. As you can see, I had a lot of stuff on mine, and that was only because I just wanted them to be really nice. All right. All right, so I'm gonna pull these out of, because they so small so they don't take long to chill. See, they already cool. All right. Now, I would suggest putting a smaller pan or something in freezer, because you want to ensure that they go ahead and dry quicker when you're doing the chocolate on them, because any chocolate is gonna take a minute to dry sometimes. Now, if you're using almond bark, it'll dry quick. You don't have to worry about it. The chocolate gonna dry quick regardless. All right. Any questions so far before we get into this part? As you can see, they were really quick to decorate. Going into a bake. We got one more set in there. All right, we good? Ain't nobody unmute, so I guess we all right. All right, so I did a couple of different ones, as you can see on mine. So I'll go through those with you and show you those. I used some white non-perennials for the ones you've seen that had the more pearlized look on them. Very, very easy. I love the look of these. They look more like wedding-ish, if you want to say. So I just added some to a bowl. This was the easiest way to do it. Add it to a bowl and use a spoon to apply them to it. You don't want to dip it in there like that. All right, so we'll start with that one. All right, so you're just gonna take your donut, the little mini donut ring, and dip it in your chocolate. And I just let it float on top of there. Make sure you get it good and coated. Like I said, this is gonna be messy. You should probably be wearing gloves anyway. With Corona Lynn going around, you don't want to get nobody. Well, you don't know whether you got it either. You ain't gonna know for 10 days. So you don't get nobody to lean. So you're gonna take your spoon, and all I'm gonna do is add these to this with a spoon. It's the easiest way to do it, is to add it with a spoon. That way you don't get them everywhere, and you ain't dipping directly in, dipping the donut directly in there. The good thing about it is the little hole in the middle helps you to keep a grip on it. All right, tap your excess off. Can everybody see good? Is it too high? Can everybody see? Let me know.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, thank you. Somebody talking to me. You get a bonus point. All right, so next one. It definitely, the hole helps a lot. I promise you. All right, make sure you get it where it's coated all the way down the sides if you can. So you want to press it down off in there. You may need to get like something a little bit more shallow to make it easy on you when you dipping these. A more shallow dish will give you a little bit more coverage, but you don't want to get it to where you can't cover the sides. So as you can see, I'm just kind of holding it now, holding it up so the chocolate can drip down the sides. Because you know when you see real donuts from a donut shop, the chocolate is actually all the way down the donut. All right. Okay. Now you may find an easier way to dip them to where it's not all over you. I'm telling you, this is not a clean thing. So if you want people who is really, really clean and you don't want stuff all over you, this probably not the project for you, because it ain't no easy way to do this where you gonna end up being clean. In that aspect, then you can charge their ass a little bit more. All right. All right, I'll take this one and I'll do another one. Let's do non-perennials on it. And you can order these if you want the size that I showed you. You can order that off Amazon. I literally get everything off Amazon, y'all. I'm on there all day long. Sometimes some days I don't even leave home and go to the store. I just order everything off Amazon because they come the same day. All right, so at this point is when I started doing my background part 2. When I wanted the gold to actually fit directly into the chocolate is when I started adding it on here. Get the last pan out of the oven. They are done. The last 2. So you got 14 donuts out of this batch right here. And these are a little bit larger. They baked all the way up on there. Naturally, if you want to bake more, if you need a larger order of these for like a treat table or something, just buy more pans. The good thing about Amazon, if you need something and you only need it just for that one time to do something, you know you ain't gonna do it no more, just send it back. They'll take your thing back, so. Just say it didn't bake right or something. You ain't even gotta give them no reason. They still take it back. All right. I'm gonna do the last one of these. All right. All right. So these next ones I'm gonna go ahead and put those, the ones that just came out, I'm gonna go ahead and put those directly in the freezer. That's the one I showed you a few minutes ago. I told you to go ahead and put you a pan in the freezer because that pan is gonna help them to cool fast and will dry faster. All right. Stick these in there now. All right, so all of these will be ready for the gold and the sprinkle look on them, but they're gonna go directly back in there. And actually, you see, they already dried. This was the second set that came. I let them dry directly in the pan and just flipped them right on out and started decorating. Now these ones that are gonna be gold, all the way gold, you don't use all your chocolate on them now because you ain't gonna see it anyway. It's gonna be gold. You just want to give them a taste. And I don't know if people really well, I'm sure they are because people have ordered them. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff on them when you decorate them, but I guess like the same thing with those apples. People eat all this stuff on their treats and stuff. So I guess they'll eat them. Be careful with the embellishments that you put on these type of treats, especially dry J's. Those are the little metal rods and stuff like that. you need to make sure if you're going to sell these and you're going to put all that stuff on there, that you put a disclaimer on your order form or the order guide for the customer to let them know that those pieces are, even though they are candy-like, they are kind of hard for kids and kids can choke on them. So give them that little warning because the kids are going to swarm to stuff like this and you don't want to be getting sued. So somebody choked on a damn candy piece. All right, last one. All right, so these are going to go right back in the freezer because these are going to be the ones that we actually use as our decorative pieces from for the start. All right, so some of these on the side here, like I said, I go ahead and do the gold on the wet because what I did was I made the gold the background for the other stuff that was going on there. And I just take a fan brush. I always talk about this brush on my lives and the fan brush, and I use it to just flick the gold on there. And what it'll do is the gold will actually dry into the chocolate. Now, what I did find out was that when you do the gold on the chocolate, of course, the chocolate has a oil base to it, so it's already going to be a little bit hard to apply to it because it tends to slide off. So I'm gonna add this on here because this is gonna be the background to the decorations that we're gonna put on there. So I'm gonna let this go dry into the chocolate. All right, just flicking that on. All right, y'all with me so far?
Yes.
All right. What is it? Because she is so responsive. I'm gonna give you something free. All right, so on these right here, same way I did with those, with the gold, this is when I added my gold to these. And I used the fan brush and I just added just some small embellishments of gold on there. Now, this chocolate, like I said, is gonna take us a little bit of time to dry on some of them. All right, so I'm gonna let these sit and dry for a second, and I'm gonna grab the mold for you guys so I can show you the mold part that I use as the embellishments on there. All right. All right, so I got this mold from Michael's. Very, very inexpensive mold. You can use a coupon on it. It ain't nothing expensive about it. You can have all. It doesn't matter what mold you use. If for y'all treat makers, I'm sure y'all got 1,000 molds at home. I already had this at home. So all you do is, of course, if you've done this before, maybe this is your first time. I don't know. I'm gonna go through it as if it is everybody's first time. So you want to dust your mold down with a little cornstarch, and you want to use fondant or gum paste that I did not bring. So if you are doing these and you actually need them to dry fast because you have a client that's ordered something at the last minute, like most of them do, you want to get you some Tylose powder because Tylose makes everything dry faster. All right. So even if they are last minute and you tell them that this stuff takes forever to dry, days and all that, even though it don't, you can actually just charge them for it. So this is some Tylos powder. Wilton makes it. You can get some from CK. Go on Amazon and order some. Just type in Tylos powder. And Tylos, just what it does is just hardens the fondant faster. The more you put in there, the harder it's gonna be. So you have to kind of work fast with it because you'll end up having it be rock hard like some Play-Doh that'll sit out for a long time. You just need this into there, the Tylos into there. All right. So find whatever design you want to use on your mat. And this is the one that it has the little pearls and all that on there. If you had this mat before, it's an older mat. I still use it because I use the pearls on it. And all you do is flop it out. And you kind of roll the design out. And it makes the little bitty impressions like that. All right. Let those sit and dry. And that's when I say you need to charge people for these type of embellishments and stuff like this is on there, because you have to go through and actually make each one of these little pieces, and then you have to paint them. So you want to get your money for all of your efforts that you're putting into this. Something as simple as a donut. All right, I'm just going to do a couple of these. And these are some of the leaves. This is just a little quick side tip too. If you are standing a lot on your feet, like I do, make sure you get you one of those mats to go under you, the fatigue mats to help your back, because in the long run, you be thinking you wondering why your back hurt and everything. You done forgot that you done stood up for 8 to 10 hours making treats or making cakes. So grab you one of those mats. Spend a good $20 on one so you can help your back. All right, so I'm just going to use this. All right. All right, I think we have a couple of the ones that were gold. So we'll add a couple more pieces on here. And the good thing about these, you can actually double them up, some of the designs, and put a couple of them on one donut or anything. Doesn't matter, however you want to do it. I'm doing an order for some on Sunday. My boyfriend's niece having a unicorn party, so I'm going to do unicorn themed donuts. This with various colors, color splashes. So with color splashes, the same way we do the gold. You take your colors, whether it's your Chef Master color or your Wilton color, and you can actually mix it with just a little bit of Everclear. I mean, just a little, enough for it to be liquefied, and you can flick those colors onto whatever you're doing it on, whether it's a cake or donuts or whatever treat it is, and mix those colors on there, and it'll actually give you that flick effect with colors, the same way that you do with gold. You can do it with your icing colors as well. Did y'all know that? Y'all probably knew that already. I'm gonna tell y'all as if y'all ain't never did this before. All right, so we got those. All right, so these little pieces right here, you want to paint those gold. Sometimes I will just give them a brushed look, just an aged look on there. And sometimes I'll go through and just actually paint the whole thing gold. Now you probably gonna have to, you can get the majority of it done while they're flat. The bulk of it needs to be done while it's on there though, while it's actually on there, so you can get the edges of it. So you just do the top parts on there. the part of the gold, when you want the most pigmented part of the color of any golds or silvers, you're always going to use the part that's most pasty. That's going to be your most pigmented part of the color. That's the part that makes it the really, really the bright gold, the really, really bronzy looking shades. Use that pasty part. The more liquid part is going to give you, it's almost like you do, the more liquid you add, the lighter the color is going to get. And some of these, I just want to get the brush effect to them, a more old, antique look to them, so. If this is your first time doing any type of treats or anything like that, is this anybody's first treat making activity?
It's mine.
Okay.
It's my first time also.
Okay. So we got 2 first timers.
It's mine also.
Okay. So the thing to remember with doing stuff like this, with any treats and stuff, take your time. You don't have to rush anything. You want to take your time, especially with small details like this. What I found is people will start out doing really, really good on this type of stuff, and then they get really, really busy with it. With people, a lot of people asking for it, and they start missing like the small steps on stuff. Like this right here, leaving it half done, like the edges are still white and all that. Make sure you actually take the time and get all of it. I see this all the time, even from people who've been doing it for a while. It's like you get so many orders and then you get, start getting sloppy. You started out really, really good. So always remember, it's about the quality of the work. Don't worry about how many orders you get in a weekend, all the quantity in there. Deliver quality work. All right, so we're gonna let these sit. And try to get all of the edges, and then we'll go back to them. These little small details are very, very fragile. So if they do break, the good thing about funding and stuff is you can always put it back together. So you don't have to worry about it messing up. You can piece those little things back together with a little water. All right, so I'm gonna let those sit. I'm gonna check the ones we got in the freezer. All right, so these are dry already. Like I told y'all, this is the liquid gold chocolate. It's gonna dry fast anyway. Won't have no problems out of this. They already told y'all, the reviews and told y'all it's the truth. All right, so I'm gonna get my bag now and add some chocolate to it. Now we start doing the designs. Somebody mute your phone or mute your system. All right. So just add a little bit of chocolate to your bag. You can use a tip for this, or you can just, cut a little small hole on the bottom. All right, I'm going to elevate this so y'all can see. Really, so my blind ass can see. All right, so I'm gonna move some of them off of here so I can use all of this. All right, so you're gonna stripe it. I always start, when I'm doing striping on anything, I never start directly on whatever object I'm actually doing it on. I always start like on the pan or whatever I'm on, so that I can already start that line and get nice even lines. Okay. All right, so on there is when I start adding in my little embellishments. So with this chocolate, if you're adding stuff on, you need to really go ahead and work with it because it dries fast. So if you add any embellishments or anything, you need to go ahead and add them. right. Okay. And this is more of a more colorful blend. A couple of them is just going to be on one side. All right. We just want to just capture that. And this mix here actually has like some of the little larger pieces in it. This is what I was telling you about. You definitely want to be careful and let your clients know about the safety precautions of any elements that you put on any treats or anything. I don't care how small you think it is. People will try to sue your ass for anything these days. All these hoes try to get rich quick off of shit now. So make sure you cover your own ass. Ain't nobody winning the lottery every day, so they're gonna try to win it off of you. All right, so this is when you add those little small embellishments that we made. Now you can let these dry. I just tend to go ahead and add them on there while they still going. Y'all can see that far back?
Yes.
Okay, well good.
Yes.
Y'all all right then. All right. What I like about these, I don't be trying to promote everybody, but I do promote good stuff. I like these sprinkles because they're actually made for treat makers. They have all of these little bitty pieces in there are perfect for getting in little small details like this.
Which sprinkles are those?
These are from GCC, from Gabby. GCC Confections. She be in my story, so if you need to just send me a message, and I can direct you to a page. She's getting ready to drop some new ones now that are mostly for just treat people, because you really want like the pieces that are small for stuff like this. There's more detailed pieces like this. All right. So you remember we had the white, the non-perennials. You can add those. And the idea is to actually make a nice set of whatever you're doing to keep it as a set. I recently just got into like the whole little cookie thing now, and I'm learning that when people do things, they do it like as a set. So I guess it's best to keep these little things as a set too. So remember I told you that you have to add, the more you go ahead and color on there, it makes it easier. So you can actually go back and fill in those pieces that are those edges, those little rough edges around the sides now that are missing. And all of this stuff like this too. If you know what you got a certain color scheme and all that you want to make when it comes to this type of stuff and sprinkles and all that, try to order your stuff. Just order your own stuff. You ain't gotta go and spend a lot of money. Just order the stuff that you actually need. You can go on Amazon. Everything, you can pretty much find everything you need for simple things on Amazon. So use your resources. All right. The chocolate that I'm putting on there, the chocolate pretty much just helps to hold everything, hold the little applicants in place so that they don't slide off or anything. So it's just really much just like glue. All right. All right, so that's that one. All right, so on here is you seen that I had some that were completely chocolate or gold anyway. So what I did was, like I told you earlier, I take the darkest part of the most pigmented part of the gold, and I use that to paint with. Now, there is always an argument about this stuff that I ain't getting into, but everybody always argue whether or not this stuff is edible and all of that. And there's always an argument about it. So listen, this is what I tell folks. These hoes put everything else in their mouth. This little bit of gold shit ain't gonna kill them. So it ain't gonna bother them. Use it. Okay. All right. All right, so I achieved the look of one side gold, one side all that like this. I painted one side of the donut gold, and as I did my stripes, like I told you, I just went ahead and went it directly on there. Now you want to do this while it's wet, while the gold is wet. The reason being, when the gold dries on this right here, this particular when you're adding stuff on here, the gold will dry. And if you don't put the chocolate on while it's wet, the chocolate gonna slide off of the gold. Don't ask me how I know. I just know. It's gonna slide off. I done seen it happen. So you wanna do it while it's wet. All right. All right, so that's those. Y'all see that? Ain't they pretty? Yeah. All right. So we got the other set. Now we need to go in and put in some hold ones that are all the way gold, just to add to the set, to finish out the set. Please, when you do these, let me see them, what you came up with. I would love to see it. I know this is a little bit different from being in the Facebook groups and everything, but I find this to be a lot more interactive. Actually, there's a feature on here. I've actually got a membership with this now, where we can actually, if we're working one-on-one, if you have questions and you need to see something one-on-one, you can actually schedule a meeting, and we could actually video just from here and ask questions and everything. Even if we were in the class tonight, I actually see everybody. If we were working together, I can actually see everybody. So if I had the feature on for the camera view. All right, so you can see all of this is gold. All right, now just like I just told you, if you're gonna make this gold and you're gonna add the white to it, you need to do it while it's wet so it can stick.
Hey, Jeremy.
Uh-huh.
When you get a chance, can you zoom in just a tinch?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let's do it this way. All right, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all should have been told me to put it right there. I can see y'all real good then. Well, I can see me. All right, so that's the gold one. Like I said, put it on while it's wet. Now this gold, that the chocolate that's on there is probably already dry. It literally does not take that long to dry because one, the donut is extremely frozen. Well, it ain't froze, but it's cold enough to where it'll actually stick to it. This brush makes it so much easier to do. It's a fan brush. You can get this from Michael's or Walmart, anywhere really. I say get a good one. Now, make sure you separate. I always separate. I keep one Well, I got a lot of them, but I keep some for when I'm doing painting on flowers, and then I have some when I'm painting on stuff like this. So you have your food brushes, and then you have your brushes for like embellishments and stuff too. Now, depending on the look you want, I had some that looked like they were gold leaf, and I got that effect just from dabbing the brush on there. If you don't like, just instead of having a smooth look, just look like they were actually done in gold leaf. If you've seen what gold leaf paper looks like. All right. And this is something, I mean, you get creative with it. I say this, get tastefully creative with it, because some of y'all just run the fuck out and don't be creative. So get tastefully creative with the whole idea of doing this. All right. And y'all notice I've been using the same chocolate. I ain't warmed it up no more. I'm just giving y'all that little plug right there, since, you know, y'all don't know how good this chocolate is. All right, so I'm gonna add some more of our gold pieces on that we made. Set this to the side. All right, we'll use this one. Now you can see what I meant when I was saying the edges, you want to go ahead and finish all of it off. Now, these are really, really good. I've seen now that people are getting more into doing like donut bars. If you want to see some ideas on what you can do with the donuts, I suggest going to Etsy. Etsy actually has some donut, like they make these people make the donut stands that you can actually rent out. So if you were doing these donuts for a event or something, you can actually sell the whole thing to them, sell on the package, where they can get a whole little treat station of donuts. And it's like a little stand that has the little the holder for the donuts to sit in. The little, you could probably build it yourself, but that's just some little extra side money. Y'all know I be always thinking about how you can make some money. All right. And we got one that's all gold, and then that'll be the last one that's on there. Just said, don't be afraid to play with the different patterns and different blends. As you can see, I did this whole set really just gold because I wanted everything to go together when I put it together. Okay. All right. So we got this part. So let me show you how to now arrange everything where you have it together. Any questions so far?
No.
You guys have been so amazing. It's been the easiest class ever.
We don't follow instructions.
Well, y'all don't follow all the instructions. I hope y'all don't mess up these folks' donut holes.
Jeremy, what about make ahead time for getting these prepared?
So these actually last. What I did was I did some before where I just baked them just to see how they would go. And I actually put them in the refrigerator, and you can actually refrigerate them for up to 10 days. You can keep them in the freezer if you wrap them in the freezer for up to 20 days. So I guess the easiest thing to say to kind of explain it, the chocolate actually preserves the donut because it's just the donut is actually cake. So when you actually get it to them, you can. The good thing about this is you can start ahead of time with this. So if you have an event that's Saturday, you can start baking and go and get this stuff out the way early, especially if you got like a whole lot of embellishments to go on there. If that makes sense. All right, so we did all of these tonight. And you'll see why I chose to do all these different colors and stuff in there, because everything comes together. And then and what I'm actually showing you is placement also for when you're doing pictures. So you definitely want to, you got to play with stuff a little bit to get the look that you want. So some you'll put in, some you'll take out, and kind of move it around until you get it the way you want it. And we did all of these from one mix. So I told you we had 14 donuts out of just this one mix from this. So I'm gonna put this up so y'all can actually see the whole thing. All right. What you think?
Beautiful.
Lovely.
It's super dope.
So
Beautiful.
what I would say is, now people gonna always say this is too pretty to eat and all this and that. I don't give a damn how pretty they is, as long as you get paid for them. Okay, that's the sole purpose of this. Is for you to add something different to your menu. As you can see, literally, it takes. If we wasn't talking, it would probably take you 6 minutes to mix up all of the ingredients because you dumping everything in and just putting it in a pan. So if you need to double the recipe, just do everything that's on the constructions and double it. Double all of the ingredients on there so that you have more. So the more pans you can actually fit, if on a standard oven, you can fit 6 pans in the oven. So you can get a lot done in that time frame. And it don't take that long to chill.
Jeremy.
Uh-huh.
Wilton has a donut pan that holds 20 as well.
Yeah, oh, that's perfect then. So you put both pans in the oven, you got 40 donuts all together and be done. For selling these, I would say make sure you sell them by the dozen. When people are getting sets like that, or if you can sell them as a more intricate set, you can actually dumb the set down. Like if they just want just a basic design, and I do mean basic. I mean basic, like some stripes on there and a few sprinkles. That type of basic. Not nothing elaborate. This will be more an elaborate set. All right. Any more questions? If you got in late, I will, like I said, I'm going to make sure that I provide the link so where you can actually watch this, to watch the replay. If you need to go back and watch it again, it's going to be on my website. So I will make sure that I get the link to everyone. I will email you guys the actual link that goes to there once this downloads, okay? All right, if y'all don't have any more questions, I appreciate you guys taking tonight's class on the Glam nuts, is what I call them. They're not just donuts, they're Glam nuts. All right, anybody have any questions? Everybody good?
And again, we can find the ingredients list
It should have been. It was actually in a download. Did you just now get the class?
Yeah, I got it about like 7:15.
Okay, so it's in your digital download. The recipe is in the download.
It's probably on the second page. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the second page.
All right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And as far as price point, Jeremy, we would just have to play with it for our individual markets.
Yeah, I would definitely say don't charge less than. Even though these are small, I consider these to be like cupcakes. So $25 to $30 a dozen is a great starting point for them. And you can also fill them. Like if you want to put like a filling or something in them, use the Wilton's tube that actually inserts filling, and you can fill them in certain different points in the donut and let that part chill, and then go ahead and start decorating them. Then you can charge more for that. I also have another recipe that I'm trying out. It's a blueberry donut recipe. I need to see how it holds up though for the decorating part, but it actually has blueberries in it.
You gotta get us a chocolate recipe too.
Well, for this one right here, all you have to do is add in your cocoa powder to it. You probably gonna have to play with the measurements on it. I always just start out with like maybe 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder to the recipe, and then go from there, because it already has the baking powder in it, so it'll be easy for it to bake up. All right, that's it, y'all. Y'all have an awesome night. Again, I'll send you the link for the replay. If you missed something, please reach out to me. Send me a DM or an email. The email is the quickest way to get to me, and I'll see it because there's too many DMs on my page. But thank y'all for tuning in to this tonight. I hope this brings you some additional revenue. It's a very, very easy project that can bring in a lot. As you can see, like people went crazy over social media because they were just glammed out. They're not just your average donut. Like I said, it's not an average treat. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the class and you go out there and most importantly, make some money from doing it. Take this small $15 investment and flip it into $1,500, okay? That is my prayer for all of y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good night.
Are you
Thank
welcome?
you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.